Welcome back to Two Birds, One Stone. Welcome back, Kyler Murray. Welcome back, DeAndre Hopkins. And the Cardinals win again on the road, improving to 7-0 in Chicago this Sunday. Perfect on the road. All wins by double digits. Nobody started a season like that except for two other teams in NFL history. How do you feel about it, Garrett?
Library claps. It's just the beginning, baby. Just the beginning, baby. We're starting. I mean, what'd you say? We're the third team to do that since?
Third team ever. The 84 Niners, they went on to win the Super Bowl, and like the 68.
Doesn't
matter. Know. Who gives a shit?
But anyway, it's BAMF, which if you don't know what BAMF stands for, it means badass motherfucker. And that's what the Cardinals are on the road, obviously. Like you said, every single game, all of these 7 games have been won by double digits. That's just insane. And then you go to Chicago. And for those who don't follow us on Twitter, we were at the game. We were live on the scene. Quick 6-hour drive. No big deal. Honestly, kind of sucked ass. I don't know what your thoughts are. It was about 25, 30 degrees. It was, us here at the Two Birds, One Stone pod aren't the most wealthy bunch. So we had to get the nosebleeds. And the nosebleeds, it gets a little windy up there. It was windy. It was 30 degrees. It was raining, but we did stay for the whole game. And that's just kind of what being a fan's about, is sticking it out. And that's what we did.
I told a couple buddies, it was just kind of like I guess a check off the bucket list. Soldier Field in December, like a classic historical, like outdoor venue like that, and Lambeau, to do that and like the elements, like real football, cold weather. I'll check it off the bucket list. I'm glad that we did it one time, but it was miserable. It was cold. It was rainy, just spitting, kind of sleety rain all game, which makes what the Cardinals did that much more impressive, because all the talk, all the pretty boy football shit from the past like couple years, ever since Kingsbury got there with the air raid, that was their like knock. That's what people have been saying in the national media. We know as Cardinals fans, that's not been the case. Even in Kyler's rookie year, the Cardinals ranked, I believe, top 10 in rushing of the last 2 years. Like, they're not just a spread the ball out, throw it all over the field. They're tough, especially this year. And that's the kind of football you have to bring in a game like that. Everybody's talking about Mac Jones only attempting 3 passes or whatever, which is crazy. Kyler only attempted 15 passes in this game. It was 11 for 15. And he did what he had to do in his return. He used his legs more than any game so far this season. I think he had 10 carries for 59 yards and the 2 touchdowns. So whatever concerns you had about his ankle, especially with the cold and the bad weather, I didn't expect to see that, but it was like the leash, like the reins were unleashed. He didn't have any, we're not being careful or anything. Whether, like, I think one of those touchdowns was not a design. He dropped back and he made a play happen, ran it in from like 15 yards, but he's good to go. And I think that's clear to say at this point.
I think the casts are officially off. He's full fledged. We did see a good amount of D-Hop too, which I really wasn't expecting, but this isn't a pretty boy football team. Have you seen James Conner's haircut? There's nothing pretty about that. It's ugly, and he runs the way the way his haircut is. It's fucking gross to look at, but it's effective, I guess.
You have to be nice to James.
Oh, I'm not hating on him. I don't like his haircut, but he runs the fuck out of the football, so that's all that matters.
Good guy. James Conner had, I believe, 20 carries, 75 yards, and that receiving touchdown,
which was BAMF.
A lot of people, I believe, this has kind of been talked about this week. When James Conner's brought in, you're imagining Chase Edmonds is that lead back for the most part, and James Conner is that bruising back, short yardage type of runner, which he has been. But nobody in all of the Cardinal, I don't think anybody would have expected what he's been able to do catching the football. It's not just been this week. That play was insane. The one-handed catch. It seems like he has a short check down one-handed catch like once a game, or at least the past few weeks. It's crazy. Like the burst and like, I don't know, just like his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield is something I don't think many people saw coming. And I don't know about you, but I really kind of want to see him remain as the lead back, even when Chase comes back this week.
I don't think that there's any, I mean, you can't sit him. Like you can't, there's no way. He has too many touchdowns. He's too badass. I just kind of credit to Steve Keim for kind of pointing out what no one else would see. I don't think anyone, like you said, thought he'd be this effective, but he has. He's been the man.
It's weird. Like this doesn't matter, but like ESPN fantasy, I've got James Conner, which has been good for me. But like I looked at his projection is 2.5 points lower than Chase this week. So
Really?
People, at least at ESPN or around the league nationally, believe that maybe Chase is going to go back to the lead role. But as much as I was excited to see Chase this year, like take over the lead back like position and like, okay, you fill in right where Kenyon Drake was, and James Conner is going to slide behind you and be that change of pace or whatever. Maybe James Conner or Chase Edmonds, maybe he's just a change of pace guy. I don't know for sure. It sucks that his opportunity came and an injury kind of took it away from him. But at this point, like I said, I feel like he's going to be used a lot like he was in years past, and maybe some third down situations. You're not going to see him on a lot of first and second down packages anymore with the way that James Conner's playing. And I don't think you can blame anybody for that.
No, I feel Cliff is probably going to find some, because he's still a really good player. He's a above average back. I feel Cliff's going to find some way to kind of incorporate them both, get them both touches, and get the ball in both of their hands, just because they're both too dangerous. Obviously, you've seen James Conner, but we've ourselves in particular have noticed Chase Edmonds over the past couple of years, where not a lot of people have really know who he is or talked about him a lot, but we have been saying for the past year or two at least that, hey, we want him to start. And I kind of hope that they don't forget what he is and what he can do.
Right. It's crazy to think like he's been missing this whole time. Like that's just another offensive piece, even winning those games without Kyler. Like you didn't have Chase either. And it's pretty crazy. You mentioned D-Hop back. They got him involved early, caught a touchdown that 4th and 2 on the first drive. He only had one other catch. I think he had 2 catches for 32 yards in that touchdown. But like I said, Kyler only completed 11 passes, only attempted 15. So it wasn't one of those games where he was dropping back and throwing it all over the field. So I remember we were at the game, like I said, and we're sitting there, and you played him in fantasy. We're both kind of paying attention to like his snap count, because I believe going into the game, he was going to be active, but we weren't sure how many snaps he was going to play and this and that and all that crap. It seemed like he was out there the majority of the game. Like,
yeah,
if it was normal weather conditions, I think Hopkins is full go.
Which, I mean, I feel like he's been full go, but if you look at his games for the past this season, it's not like he's gotten targeted like he did last year. There's a lot more weapons to go to. So I didn't really expect him to see a lot of action, because he normally doesn't. Like he'll make the big play like he usually does, but I didn't really expect it. He's honestly not that great of a fantasy wide receiver. He's usually good for about 5 or 6 targets and however many yards, but I didn't really expect a whole bunch out of him. And I mean, he caught a touchdown pass. So yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm looking at it right now. The most targets he's had in a game was 9 in the Houston game, which makes sense. And he had 9 in the first San Francisco game too. So, I mean, he's hovering. I bet he's averaging, like you said, 7 targets a game, looking at it right here. So like, I mean, that's just a good problem to have. Yeah. You've got this fantastic, like Ferrari of a receiver over here, but you don't have to break him out all the time. I think if the conditions were right, he obviously would have got more targets. I don't think it was anything, like we said, to do with the injury, but
not a lot of people are really talking about the conditions as much as what I think the Monday night game kind of overshadowed a lot of stuff. Sure. I kind of equate the Cardinals game and the Monday night game is kind of like an off-brand, because you had almost the exact same conditions, except was it cold in Buffalo, I assume, then too? Or was it as cold in?
It was much colder in Buffalo.
Okay. Either way, you kind of just had like an off-brand Buffalo game. It wasn't the most ideal, but to see Kyler come out and go 11 for 15 and run the offense as well as he did and I've seen Kyler Murray play before. The last time me and you saw him together was in rookie year against the Browns in week 14 or something like that, 15. December, where they lit him up. He's just so much. It's everyone talks about his quickness. He's quick. He's hard to catch. He's so agile. You don't really see, like, you can see it on TV, but unless you're there watching it in person, it really is like a rabbit turtle race. I know the turtle usually ends up winning, but he looks like like a rabbit, and everyone else looks like turtles. He's just so quick. Yeah, it's crazy to see. You don't really appreciate it until you see it in person.
Like we said, 10 carries, 59 yards, and the 2 scores. You know, he ran the ball 10 times. He was not tackled one time. Yeah. He either got out of bounds or was touchdown after slide every single play, which is incredible. Like, and I'd like to see the numbers on his career, like the averages of like the amount of carries per how many times he's actually brought down, like physically tackled, it's got to be 3%. Like he's always, that's the other part about it is we've talked about it. We talked about it in the pregame or the preseason episode. I didn't want him to run as much. And you were kind of fighting against me on that, saying if that's his game, you can't rein him in. This season, I think, is kind of not proved me right, but he's won so far with his arm. And to be able to save all of these play calls, these run options and stuff down the stretch, like Kingsbury hasn't had to expose that kind of part of his playbook. If you can unleash Kyler Murray's legs, like at this point, and you're just now using them, fucking look out. We're 10-2, and we still haven't even gotten to that point of kind of like where the offense can be. So
that was kind of like my point from the beginning was I knew he had the arm, but I didn't realize our run game was going to be this productive at this point. So I kind of figured that he would have to shoulder a lot of the load in the run department. But with the emergence of James Conner and the amount of touchdowns he's had and the amount of touches and how well he's played, it's like you kind of said, it's almost like you have 3 gears and you just can shoot up to the 4th. Like it's like a little ace up the sleeve now where it's going to be 8 times more effective, rather as if you would have implemented it at the beginning of the season and made that like a constant in the offense.
And we may be giving Kingsbury too much credit with that. Who knows if that was planned? Like if he's like, oh, I'm going to wait to use his legs as the season. Probably not. That's probably just how, like,
I don't think so. I think that's just like a
but
plan C. I feel like that was just like your push. If everything else falls to shit, push this button, but nothing has fallen to shit because everything, our passing games worked, our running games
offensive
worked.
line's been great. Yeah.
Everything. So yeah.
Some insane Kyler Murray numbers that have kind of come out this week as yes, he's missed those 3 games. So chances are he most likely doesn't have a shot at the MVP. I don't think that's warranted if he's been the best player all year. With the longer season this season, he missed a few games. If he's the best player, you got to give it to him. Right now, he has a 72.7% completion percentage. That would be, if the season ended today, that'd be the 3rd highest ever in a single season. Okay, you look at that. Wow, great. A high completion percentage. He must be dinking and dunking and taking safe throws. No, he also leads the NFL. He's number 1 in yards per attempt, I think at like 8.9, and air yards per attempt at 9.1. That's fucking crazy to think that you're leading the NFL in completion percentage and you're attempting the deepest passes down the field of anybody, the furthest down the field as any quarterback in the NFL. And you're the top number at both. That's mind blowing to me. Like that's insane.
Yeah. I think a lot of credit needs to go. I hate to say it again, but to Steve Keim for building probably the best top 3, 4 or 5 receiving core in the league. Cause you have to think Hopkins attracts so much attention. And then that AJ Green's, I don't know. Has he met expectations to you? Has he exceeded? Has he not?
Yes, he's met expect. I think he's probably exceeded expectations. If I'm being honest, I see
flashes. I feel like he definitely stepped up whenever.
I would say 5.5 targets a game.
Yeah.
6, 6, 6, 6, 2, 6, 3, 8, 5, 7. I mean, they're throwing the ball to him.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of credit, which as much as hate as Steve Keim's gotten in the past, a lot of credit goes to him for. I feel like every single addition he's added has hit. Besides, of course, JJ Watt, except minus the injury,
he'll be back.
If he's
Malcolm
back,
Butler,
but
that's
AJ. Malcolm Butler's the one that did not hit, but that's out of his
all of them
hands.
hit
Can't really
besides
do about that. But like I said, AJ, James Conner, I mean, Rodney Hudson.
Everybody.
I mean, everything's hit. Dink, bink, bink, bink. And that doesn't happen very often. Kyler's playing absolutely out of his mind. I still think he'll win MVP. I'd like to look up some stats on how like the past MVP winners who've missed time and see kind of what that is. I don't really know how harsh that comes in. I know his passing yards and touchdowns won't be there.
He's actually still only like, I think maybe like 2 or 3 touchdowns behind Prescott. Like I heard a stat. I don't know the number, so I'm not going to butcher it, but he's only a few total touchdowns away from some of those guys. Yeah. Brady's far. If the reason Kyler probably won't win is because Tom Brady probably will. He's leading the league in passing yards and touchdowns, and he's fucking 44 years old. So everyone's gonna jump on Tom Brady like always. Which, if I was a Bucs fan, or really if I was any other fan besides the Cardinals, I'd probably think it's Brady too. But biasy. What was the one thing people said that Kyler needed to work on this offseason? Like the medial passing game, like not like the short yardage and the medium. He was always an accurate deep ball thrower. He has been since he came in the league, but it was that medial range, 10 to 15 yards. That was kind of his knock. And he's took that and turned it into like a strength instead. So I don't know. I think that's a big part of like where those numbers are kind of laying right now. But
I think honestly, one of the most impressive things that he's done to me is just, he's not doing dumb shit as much as often. Like you saw in his rookie year and his sophomore year, freshman or whatever, second year, he's not doing dumb shit. Like you'd see probably 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 plays every game where he'd take a 5-yard sack out of bounds instead of just tossing the ball. He would make a bad read. He'd make a poor throw decision. But I feel like as he's getting older, he's kind of have how you alluded to. He's not having to use his legs as much because he's a lot more sharper up here. I feel like the more experience,
right, and that's the other thing.
The more mature he gets, and the better
you see that with just quarterbacks. As it seems like it is always that third year. Like your rookie year, I was listening to who was it? Tim Hasselback, I think, on ESPN. Your rookie year, you're literally just trying to survive. Like you're like, okay, I got through that. You're learning kind of as you go, but you're not really comprehending anything. Second year, you pick up a little more. Okay, it's not for Kyler. It's not just your pure like talent that's getting you through, and that's what all it was his rookie year. And second year, you build on it. Third year, that's the year. It's like, okay, take off or don't. Yeah. And obviously, we all kind of expected the takeoff, and that's what's kind of happened. But
I think it's just also just one last thing about him. I think it's crazy how what sort of guidance has he had since he's been like, he has had no veteran backup to kind of sit there. You can count Brett Hundley if you want. I mean, how many games did he start? He's had almost no, help, I guess. I know Cliff's the quarterback guru with Mahomes and Baker and Kyler, but it's another thing that makes it crazy is just how he's kind of done it all on his own and figured it all out on his own. He doesn't have an Alex Smith who's kind of coaching him, helping him way through at least his first season. You know what I mean?
In the way he talks, Colt too, contributing quite a bit, but it's his third year. It's not his rookie year when he probably needed somebody like that, but that's a lot of Kyler talk. It's warranted because missing a month basically and come out and score 4 touchdowns in your first game. He looked incredible. The defense, I know the Bears are a fucking dumpster fire.
Piss poor shithole of a football team.
And we heard many fire Nagy chants, which I don't. There was a report that he was the Thanksgiving game on Thanksgiving Day was going to be his last game with the Bears either way. And they won on a last second field goal against the Lions on Thanksgiving. He kept his job. I kind of half-ass expect the score to this game, 33-22 Cardinals, was not what it was. No. They scored a garbage time touchdown late. The Cardinals controlled this game by 2-3 scores most of the time. The score looked a lot closer than what it was. I think you or maybe Dad while we're watching the game that if the Cardinals won this game like 49-14 or some shit, Nagy would have been gone. And that game might as well have been 49-14 with just the offensive ineptitude. Their whole offense is David Montgomery,
right?
Who that is a shining point because he did have like 150 yards and a couple scores total. So great. You got a fantastic running back. You got nothing else. And you're putting all your eggs in the Justin Fields basket, but Andy Dalton, obviously nice guy, not it at all. 4 interceptions.
Yeah. Part of me just kind of makes me think has to be coaching because
for sure.
Andy Dalton's he's not good by any stretch of the imagination. I would say he's a game manager. He's capable at the slightest, but you have, like you said, great running back. You have some nice young promising receivers. I feel like there's you have a lot of good defensive players. I just feel like there's a lot to work with, and Nagy's been let on too long. I don't like Nagy. I think he's stupid. I just don't fucking like him at all. And he'll be gone after this season at the latest. I think
they've talked to Pardon My Take. Dan, big cat on Pardon My Takes, big Bears fan. Apparently the Bears have never fired a coach in season, and that's probably the holdup right now, apparently. But there's literally no way that you can bring him back. I don't know what other, like Lincoln Riley just went to USC. I don't know what you're going to bring in an offensive minded guy, you would think, for Justin Fields, but who knows? Brandon Staley was a defensive coordinator when he got hired on with the Chargers, and that's not hurting Justin Herbert at all right now. So My dog just opened the basement door. We're gonna ignore her, but yeah. So like, who knows where the Bears go? It's not Matt Nagy though, so
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I'd say he is on the hottest of seats for sure.
We've got, I guess we can do defense. Two birds, one stone player of the week. I kind of hinted at it that it'll be a defensive player. Jordan Hicks won the national NFL NFC defensive player of the week. We could have went that route. That could have been an easy way to go. We're going to give it to Jalen Thompson though. So clap it up for Jalen Thompson.
Most underrated safety duo in the entire league.
Deserves to be a Pro Bowler. If you've been watching football at all or Cardinals games at all this season, Jalen Thompson should be in the Pro Bowl. Sunday, he had 10 tackles, 7 solo tackles, and that pick on the opening drive for the Bears in the right place at the right time, made a play on it.
Yeah.
To have him and Buddha both at the back end, especially with kind of like, I don't know how to say it, the defensive line, like the running game has obviously been our bugaboo so far on defense so far, being able to stop the run. To have those two guys back there to kind of clean up messes is fantastic. And then the way that they're like the secondary with Jalen Thompson, Buddha, Byron, and these young corners, that's actually been the fucking strength of the defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all we were talking about prior to the season was, oh no, Malcolm Butler retired out of nowhere. And the secondary, so many question marks. That's been the strong point.
Yeah.
So
I think you can definitely, it's kind of cool to see. I feel like Buddha's rubbed off so much on Jalen Thompson. Like you could just in the way he plays so fast. I just feel like Jalen's taken all of Buddha Baker's like mentality and speed game, like in-game speed, but I feel like he has a little bit better coverage skills and ball skills than Buddha Baker does. But either way, they're both
size.
Hopefully going to be around for a while. Clap it up for Jalen once again.
Good job, Jalen. First time winner. Have we had a repeat? We still haven't had a repeat, have we?
No, I think we've kind of done a good job of making sure everybody gets involved.
And that might be part of it. We could have gave it to Kyler, probably 4 fucking touchdowns. Jalen Thompson. 2 birds, 1 stone player of the week. So next week, we get a primetime game. Finally, we've only had one. Best team in the NFL, and we've had one primetime game, and it's week 14. This is week 14? Yeah. The Rams come to Arizona. We get a rematch of what was it, week 5, I believe, something like that.
Yeah.
The Cardinals went to LA and beat the Rams 37-20. It was a shellacking from the very beginning. The Rams were never in that game. I think my opinion of the Rams has came down even further since then. They lost 3 in a row there for a stretch. They just beat the Jags, I think 37-7. Get right game, I guess. Good for them. But the Cardinals can essentially win the division if they win on Monday night. If they win on Monday night, all they need is one more win or one more Rams loss the rest of the season to lose it. They'd have to lose out and the Rams would have to win out. So that's not happening because we're going to win, I think, 15 games. That's what I'm going to we'll go 15-2. But so the NFC West is right there to grab.
I feel this kind of, I hate to say it, kind of has makings of like a trap game almost.
I wasn't going to say
the Rams need it. They need it real bad. If they're going to be anything in the playoffs, contend for anything, they need it bad. The Cardinals need it too, but they don't need it as bad. I don't know. I think it definitely helps that it's in Phoenix, in Glendale. But I don't know. I'd like to see the line on it. Let's play guess the line, unless you already know.
You can guess it this time.
I'm going to guess Cardinals -3.5.
It's Cardinals -2.5. Which is interesting. So the rule of thumb in Vegas is home team gets 3 points no matter what. Like if it's a push or a pick 'em, you give the 3 points to the home team. So what this is saying is if the Rams were home, they would be favored by 3.5. Does that make sense? Or horse shit, but
like I said, it kind of has the feeling of that. I don't fucking think the Rams are going to be a problem. I think James Conner is going to do his thing like he usually does. I think Kyler's going to warm up a little bit and he's going to kind of let loose and throw the ball around. Hopefully, I'm kind of expecting a high scoring affair, but don't sleep on the defense. I think our defense is better than their defense, and I think our offense is better than their offense. So, ergo, a win in my book.
The way that I look at it is, remember, I guess it was 2 weeks ago when it was Rams Packers, and it was like, oh, we should be rooting for the Rams so we can get the 1 seed and it'll put us full game. If the Rams won that game, this would be a game for the division. Because they lost that game. Even if we lose right now, we've got a full game on them and a tie. They wouldn't have swept the series. It never made sense to root for the Rams ever. You win your division first and you go from there. So thank God the Packers did win that, because like I said, if we do end up stumbling on Monday night and the Rams beat us, is that loud? Sorry, that's my dog.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Good. If we do end up slipping up and the Rams beat us, we still have that full game. So we got a little bit of a cushion, but I feel exactly what you're saying. Like there is this little kind of nervousness. I guess it's because it's been a couple weeks since we've had kind of like a strong opponent to play.
Yeah.
We've had the Seahawks and the Niners and the Bears. Like you haven't seen the Packers in a while or teams like that. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, we talked about it before. The Rams are fucking very soft. And then that's been proven over and over again. I think against the Jags, Sony Michel ran for over 100 yards. So he got going a little bit, but I'm not too worried. I think we're just physically better on both fronts, offense and defense. And that's really what wins football games, especially this time of the year. So
yeah, I have the same feelings as you do. So yeah, do you want to go ahead and get into bets? My bets?
Yeah, Garrett, go ahead. Did you win some this week?
I sure did. Batting 1,000 this week. It's about the best you can ask for. Let me find it here. Ding, 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 ding. All right, here it is. So I only did one parlay this week, all money line.
Gamble
Chargers, Washington football team.
I already have a bone to pick with you.
255, 20 to win 255, and that bitch hit. So listen, guys, if I were to be putting this picks out every week, I mean, I'm up 620 or something like that on the year. And it's not sustainable. I keep doing it. I keep on winning.
Why would you bet on the Chargers if you think that they suck so bad?
Did they play?
Bengals.
I think they're better than the Bengals.
No. Be honest. Why did you bet on the Chargers?
Because I thought they were going to be. Listen, whenever
you bet on the Chargers because they had a plus sign in front of the money line. You bet on the Chargers because they were the underdog in that game, and that's the only reason.
I've been saying this for weeks. Yes, I only bet underdogs.
That's all I wanted to say.
I picked underdogs that win. I don't bet.
It's so shit luck.
No, it's not. It's not shit luck when I do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's not shit luck if I win. What are you doing? On the fucking couch, not gambling no more because you lost all your money? I keep on winning. You can't do nothing.
I've lost and I've had to quit. Gamble responsibly. I quit. I'm not gambling anymore. But all I'm saying is one of the main features of this show has been I thought the Chargers were good at the beginning of the year. You said they sucked the whole time. The Chargers fell off, and you were right. You said last week you were smelling your roses. You were right about the Chargers, and then you go and fucking bet on them. So that proves that there's no knowledge. You just saw that the Chargers were underdogs.
It's not so much knowledge. There's a couple things I take into account.
That's exactly right.
A couple things I take into account whenever I pick these games. There's 2 or 3 tests they have to pass. A, are they an underdog? B, are they favored? Are they getting less than 7 points? And that's only because that's as far as my
that means that it's not huge. Yeah,
that's only what my bookie lets me bet. And 3, does it pass? Like if I looked at this game, if I looked at the Chargers being the Bengals, could I see that? And could I really see that happening? Like if I saw that, turn on ESPN and NFL Network, saw that and saw, the Chargers beat the Bengals. Could I really see that? That passed the box. Washington football team beating the Raiders. That was one of my favorite ones of the week, no doubt. The one I was most worried about was the Steelers. And that I should have won.
That's it. That's fucking crazy that they won that game.
That one they should not have won, but they did. We watched the end of that game in a Denny's, which was fitting. It was fitting on the way back from the game in Chicago. But there's 3 tests that each game I pick has to pass, and it's It's winning. I'm winning. You're
I just wanted to show
lost.
you,
You're at home.
like it was a rock and a hard place meeting right there. The Chargers suck, and you winning, and you betting, and you winning your bets, and they met, and it was the bet like weird luck.
I didn't bet the Chargers because I think the Chargers are good. I bet the Chargers because I thought the Chargers were going to win the football game. There's two completely different things. It's different. I bet them because I thought that they were going to win, and that's what I pick winners. I don't pick good football games. I pick a team that's going to win.
So you cashing out?
Here, you know what? Here, yeah, I did cash out, but I think I'm going to go back in next week. How about we do? How about I give some sprinkle to these folks? I'll kind of give a little teaser. I'll give you my 3 or 4 game parlay I'm going to pick next week. As I'm just scrolling, so we got the Ravens and Browns. Cleveland minus 2.5. Browns, hammer it, done.
What?
Taking it. Give me the Browns. And everyone, you all can hold me to this. Browns minus 2.5. I'll take it.
In a game that the Ravens really need to bounce back, in the game that they just lost on the last play to the Steelers, you don't think they're going to have a little bit of oomph?
The Browns need this game just as bad. They need this game just as bad.
They have a bye this week? Yeah, they did, I think.
Okay. All right. There's a reason why you had to quit. Okay. And there's a reason why I'm up $620.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Okay. So next game, I'm going to bet and put in my parlay. I think it's going to be Washington over the Cowboys. -4. That one will boost the odds. That's the moneymaker. That one's the moneymaker. Okay.
Like, people listening, keep in mind that parlays mean that not one of these games have to hit. All of them have to hit. So not only do the Browns have to beat the Ravens, the Washington football team has to beat the Cowboys, and whatever other bullshit game he's about to say also has to happen. And it's just infuriating because it's working. That's what it's making me mad, because it makes no sense. Because if you were to read your bet off last week, we always do post bet, we read off the bets we have. I'm glad that you're doing this one before, because that makes it more entertaining. But if you would have read off yours last week, I would have sat here and fucking laughed. What, the fucking Steelers going to beat the Ravens? Bullshit. It's happened. All these crazy bullshit bets that you're making are happening, and it's blowing my mind. That's why I'm flustered the way that
my third game of the 3-leg parlay. I have the Browns, Washington, and the Bucks. Bucks over Bills -3.5. That's the easiest bet of the week, I think.
I don't know, because the Bills are about as desperate as they get. Like, the Bills have to start winning games. If they lose that game, they'll be 7-6.
I usually don't like to bet against wild card. I usually don't like to bet against Tom Brady, and I do like to bet on Tom Brady.
Maybe stay away from that.
That's kind of my rule on that one.
Maybe stay away from that game.
I don't take a gambling advice from people who had to go.
All right, fair enough. So that was bets this week. Tell them again what you're up, where you're at right now.
I think right now I'm up 620. It's over 600, somewhere in between 600 and 620. Don't quote me. So if you would have all listened to me and thrown everything I've thrown, you'd be, up there in the stars with me, my friends.
Hey, it's crazy, but it's working. So that's all I can say. So
maybe I'm
for
just
you.
Better.
Maybe he's just better, folks. All right, around the league, let's do it. Week 13 in the NFL started with last Thursday, the Cowboys at Saints. The Cowboys won that by 10 games. We don't have to get too much into that. Taysom Hill is not an NFL starting quarterback. He also threw 4 interceptions.
4 picks.
So,
man,
Taysom
Hill. He's worth the money,
picks.
right? He's worth it.
Absolutely. Definitely extend him.
You think
for no
that
reason.
maybe Taysom Hill has some kind of sex tape on Sean Payton or something?
There's got to be something, because he's not only sat there and didn't play while Simeon was out there sucking ass. He got an extension in that time. So
I was thinking about that. It literally does not make any sense. I've watched a couple of Saints games. We have a buddy who's a big Saints fan. It does not make any sense. He doesn't play. They pay him so much fucking money, but he doesn't even play. He has to have a sex tape on.
And he just played and he threw 4 picks. So the Saints are probably dead. I think they're 5-7 right now. Who knows with that last NFC wildcard spot, but Cowboys improved to 8-4. They're sitting right down there at, I think, the 4th spot in the NFC. So it'd be Cardinals, Packers, Bucks, Cowboys. Yeah, they're the 4th spot in the NFC. So Cowboys keep rolling, or get back on track, I should say, after losing on Thanksgiving. Bucks beat the Falcons to kind of keep pace with us and the Packers to improve to 9-3. The game is kind of close at times. What sucks about this and about being at the game on Sunday is I didn't get to watch hardly any of this. Right. So I don't really know what happened, but I know at one point Brady threw a pick six to a D lineman to make it like 23-20 or something, like to cut it kind of close. And then I guess the Falcons pulled away in the second half. But like I said, Bucks keep pace. Brady is crazy. What was Brady's numbers? Let me 368 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like I said earlier, if I wasn't a Cardinals fan, Tom Brady is probably running away with MVP, which, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Which is also nice. Would be nice to note that Brady and Gronk 90th touchdown connection, second most in NFL history. That's
good. Hey, good nugget.
You're welcome. I'll take the next one.
Hold on, I have to say something. An NFL or the MVP of the league hasn't won the Super Bowl in like 30 years. Keep that in mind. So hopefully Brady does win MVP, and then he can't win the Super Bowl. Mathematically, it's impossible to win the Super Bowl if you win MVP. So that's my nugget.
I don't think that's mathematical. I don't think.
I swear it hasn't happened in like 30 years.
Well, it doesn't mean it's impossible. Obviously, it's just as possible as anything else.
No, it can't happen.
Chargers Bengals 41-22. So this game was kind of weird as well. Chargers started out hot, 22 to like nothing, and then the Bengals came back and got it. Don't quote me on the exact numbers of these scores. I'm just kind of going with the flow of the game. So Chargers were up a lot. Bengals came back, got it close. Then Chargers won, scored more points of the Bengals, and they won the game. That's kind of a basic recap.
You want me to tell you something? You were pretty much right. It was 24-0 Chargers.
Yeah.
And then the Bengals came back and made it 24-22.
I told
22 unanswered. And then the Chargers recovered a fumble and returned it. And then an interception, whatever. I think going into this game, I was like, okay, one of these teams is probably not making the playoffs. And I've said this before. I think the Bengals are a lot like, not built like the Cardinals were last year, but they feel kind of the same. Like, okay, Burrow's in his second year. They go from losing a lot of games his rookie year to his second year. They're going to sniff the playoffs a little bit, be around 500, whatever. And then next year is their year. And that's kind of exactly where they're at right now. I think the Bengals are now, they're 7-5. So they started off just like the Cardinals did last year. I think like 5-2, playing well, and then they kind of fall off. That's what the Bengals are doing. The Chargers are just this fucking roller coaster. But to put up 41, like I said, the Bengals are a decent team. I would say they're a good team, not great. Put up 41 on them, win by 19 or whatever. Good job, Chargers. So
Bink.
I'm holding on to it still. Chargers are still decent.
Okay, so then it's Vikings-Lions. Lions get their first win. Congrats, Dan the Man Campbell.
And congrats to Jared Goff. Did you see that?
His wife or girlfriend?
Yeah.
Never mind. I can't.
Yeah, he gets it. Yeah, so the video it's if you haven't seen it, I advise maybe checking it out. Is Jared Goff's,
make sure your girlfriend or wife.
Jared Goff's wife, I guess, I don't know. I didn't really watch the video very closely. She's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, and they were showing the video was her watching the last play live as it happened. And bless her heart, she was just so excited for Jared, and
jumping
Jared
up
won.
And down and
Jared
being all
won.
Crazy
and good for him. Jared's a winner. So the Lions won a game, and
of course they came against the Vikings. If you're a Vikings fan, the
Vikings
sucks.
The Vikings are a lesser NFC Chargers. Like every week, you never fucking know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, but they just lose terrible, awful games.
This is a game you can win if you expect to make the playoffs. So I'm gonna declare the Vikings dead as well. So 5-7, right. They're dead. What's the next one?
Giants, Dolphins. Dolphins continue to roll over a beat up, terrible, long-necked Giants.
Joke of a franchise, New York Giants.
It was who started for the Giants this week?
Mike Glennon.
Huge fat neck on that guy.
Big
neck.
Former Cardinals. Shout out Mike Glennon.
Yep. And the Dolphins continue to roll. Hey,
Tua's
they're
playing
not
pretty
somebody
well
to sleep on as far as playoff implications.
I think they've won 5 in a row.
Yep, they're rolling. Like you said, Tua, another, what was he? 30 or
244 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Tua's back on his bullshit if he ever was on it.
He wasn't ever on it. Now. He's just starting. He was never very good. So
I guess he's picking up from Bama, but
that makes sense then. Eagles at Jets. 33-18 Eagles. The Eagles are 6-7. Jets are 3-9.
Football guy.
That's good. Yeah, Gardner Minshew. Like, I wasn't going to say anything else about that game. Jalen Hurts out. Gardner Minshew got to play. The 2 highest passer ratings of the weekend: Gardner Minshew, Kyler Murray. flashback to 2019. It feels like. Remember when 2019 when people were like, Gardner Minshew should be rookie of the year. He's going to be the shit. Unfortunately, he fell off, but I do like him. It's good to see him. He was
he's cool.
20 of 25, 242 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, albeit against the Jets,
bought himself another 10 years in the NFL, probably as a backup.
Probably.
So good for him.
Fuck, who knows? Eagles don't know what they're doing at quarterback. Jalen Hurts, Gardner Minshew, the answer in Philadelphia, maybe.
He fits the city, that's for sure.
No, he fit Jacksonville. Perfectly.
Right. And next we have Colts 31, Texans nothing. Colts are a good football team. I don't think that they can win a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. I almost said Philip Rivers. Basically the same quarterback, Carson Wentz. I feel they are going to have to make some moves in this upcoming draft. I don't know how many years Carson Wentz has on his contract, but that's going to be kind of a pickle for them. Boy, I mean, you can't extend him. You know, you're not going to
know if a contract was a part of that trade or not. I don't think so.
It's kind of the same deal with the Vikings. Kirk Cousins, you signed him to a big ass contract. You know, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. You know, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. So you're kind of just fucking off. Like, what's the point?
Who knows?
I never understood that, but
I'm still out of all the games left on our schedule, I think Christmas Day is what I'm most nervous about.
Yeah.
More than the Cowboys. Yeah. Just because the way that their style of offense is the only style of offense that we have struggled with. Carson Wentz threw the ball 22 times, which is, I mean, that's actually probably a decent amount for Carson Wentz and the Colts. But fucking Jonathan Taylor, I think he had, I just looked at it. It was crazy.
32 carries, 143 yards.
32 carries? Are you shitting me? That's wild.
He might win MVP.
He won't win it. I mean, as much as he should, I would like to see him. He's not going
to. It's so stupid. I'm tired of it. DH should have won it last year, whatever year that was, whenever he had 2,000 rushing yards. He should win it, but it's a quarterback-driven league. So, and then the Rams, Jacksonville, we kind of talked about that game just a little bit. Stafford loves fucking up bad teams. It's kind of his MO. 30 or 26 for 38, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like you said, Sony Michel had 120 yards rushing. And a touchdown is 2. Cooper Kupp went off again. Rams fuck up bad teams, but they suck against good teams. So
what's the I'm trying to think of that meme. The guy sitting on a bus, and it's the happy side is Matt Stafford versus teams under 500, and it's a happy side. And then on the sad side, it's Matthew Stafford against teams above 500. He's like 8-75 against teams that are above 500 in his career. Yeah, so, hey, that bodes well for us on Monday night. Yeah. So that's something to look forward to. But Rams, we talked about them a little bit. We skipped over Raiders and Washington. We talked about that in your bet, but the Washington football team has won 4 or 5 in a row too. Like they're one of the hotter teams. Heineke
might be the guy. He might just fuck around and be the guy.
I know Fitzpatrick finally got his season-ending surgery, so he's not coming back. But Heineke was 23 or 30 for 196 yards and a couple touchdowns, a pick. Antonio Gibson finally kind of getting going. I've had him in fantasy, so I know kind of what's going on. But he had 23 carries for 88 yards. It just didn't seem like he was getting the touches early in the year. I think he had a fumbling problem, but Antonio Gibson's a pretty talented guy, so to see him utilized is good. Logan Thomas, former Cardinal, out for the year. Former Cardinal quarterback, a good – if he could stay healthy, that's kind of like a borderline Pro Bowl tight end.
Whenever we watched – I think whenever we would go to the old Cardinals-Rams games, we're St. Louis-based. We used to go to a whole bunch of – whenever the Cardinals would play the Rams every year, we'd go to at least a game. I remember whenever we saw Logan Thomas while there, he looked so cool. He was just tall and he was buff. And
that was around Cam Newton, right? So he was like a Cam Newton almost when he was – and his career was short-lived. 1 for 6 for 59 yards and a touchdown, I think, on a screen to Andre Ellington. Andre Ellington, remember?
Sweetheart.
Remember Andre Ellington?
Yeah, I do.
We kind of talked about Ravens Steelers. We were watching that game, like you said, at Denny's. I thought it was a good move to go for 2. If the Cardinals were in that spot, I would have wanted it too. They had the perfect play called. Andrews was wide open, and I don't know. It's 50-50 on who the blame is on. Lamar could have put it in a better spot, and Andrews, when it was a lobbed ball, he had one hand on it. Yeah, but that's a play that you see James Conner make once a week, or
I don't know why they had their running back throw that ball. Like, wouldn't it make more sense to have their quarterback throw it? Why'd they have their running back throw it?
Because Lamar's a running back, you say? I thought you were a fucking
Lamar's
moron
joke.
for a second. I was like, Lamar
Lamar's
threw it,
joke.
you fucking dipshit. But that's a good joke.
Yeah. So thank you, Steelers. Thank you, Big Ben. You're old as fuck and not very good at football. And coming out, I noticed this whenever he announced his little retirement. He just said he's not going to play football for the Steelers again.
That's
He
true.
didn't say he's not going to play football at all.
And he didn't say football. He said quarterback. So maybe he'll be.
I would love to
something else.
see Big Ben play quarterback for like somebody else. That'd be sick. That'd be fucking hilarious.
They need to just let him ride off into the sunset and never come back again. One more game. The Broncos lost to the Chiefs on Sunday night. Chiefs are on a roll and hot. That is what that is. The Broncos suck. And the Seahawks beat the Niners, which the Niners, it's the NFC West eating itself, as it's always been. Whether they're both kind of down, the Seahawks and the Niners, the Seahawks being last place, 3-8 or whatever, they always nip at the heels. That kind of, I don't know if it eliminates the Niners, but that makes them 5-7, I think, something like that.
It makes
there's a lot of teams right there in the NFC at the bottom sitting around 5-7. So I know we beat them twice, but I don't want to see the Niners again in the playoffs, really. I mean, I'd be confident, but I'd kind of prefer somebody else. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, I would think.
Pushes them a little bit further back in the rear view.
Right.
So thank you, Seahawks.
Yep.
And then the last game, the Monday night game, Patriots-Bills, talked about it a little bit earlier as well. Yep. Patriots get to win. I've been saying Patriots are the best team in the AFC for, how long? 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Way before anybody else said it. I'm going to go ahead and take my flowers. I'm hot on takes and bets and everything else. Patriots are really good. Number 1 team in the AFC.
Are they really good? I'm going to be contrarian. Are they really good? They are a great defense and they have a good running game.
Yeah.
What happens when they don't jump out and get a lead?
You see Mac Jones sling the bitch. He can sling it. Most accurate college quarterback of all time. He's played well.
He's not slinging it.
At the beginning of the year, he was not. Belichick would not let him do shit.
Still don't think he's
these past couple weeks, he's not slinging it because Belichick hasn't really allowed him to. I mean, what's his most attempts in a game, you think?
Well, I mean, that's not a lot. I know. I think he had. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to be I mean, I think they're good.
Right.
I think as of right now, they're playing the best football in the AFC. I think their ceiling is lower than some of these other teams. I still think the Bills' ceiling is higher than the Patriots, with especially offensively, and the Bills' defense is still very good in its own right. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills still win that division. They play another game head to head in I think 2 weeks. If the Bills are able to win against the Bucks this week and then turn back around in the rematch against the Patriots and win that game too, then that kind of cements themselves back into kind of one of the top teams in the AFC. And you think the fucking Patriots are going to go and play a shootout in Kansas City or against the Chiefs later in the playoffs or something like that?
I'm very high on the Patriots.
I just don't see that happen. I don't see their offense being able to keep up with some of these teams in the AFC. I'm playing contrarian. Like I said, I think they're good, but I don't know. I'm not completely sold that they're this, it's lock it in. It's Patriots Bucks Super Bowl or Patriots Packers. It's Patriots this. I just don't. They're hot right now. Maybe they're hot at the wrong time. Who knows? Maybe they're playing their best football too early, but they're playing good football. So I will give it to them on that. To win a game in any circumstance, throwing the ball 3 times is fucking insane in 2021. So that's crazy. I don't think there's another team in the league that could do that. So nope. I'll give them credit there. What else we got? Is that it?
I think that's it.
That's it, I guess. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Monday Night Football next week against the Rams. Cardinals are 10-2, still sitting at the top of the NFC. Like I said earlier, you win this game at home against the Rams, you basically win the NFC West. So they'd win if they win this week and they beat the Lions, they would have clinched the division with 3 weeks to spare. In the division where it's supposed to be so cutthroat and many people thought the Cardinals would be last and, it'll come down to the end. The Cardinals are going to do it and kick their feet up the rest of the way. They'll be playing for the 1 seed, obviously, but they'll have this shit wrapped up in no time, which is crazy.
But
But yeah, awesome. We'll talk again. I guess we'll probably.
I'm gonna go ahead and safely say it'll be Tuesday.
Yeah, this is a Wednesday. We messed up this week. We should have definitely recorded Monday, but we're watching Bills Patriots last night. We slipped up as well. It is what it is. It's fine. We're getting it out now. Sue us, This is our podcast.
Fuck you guys.
We can put it out whenever we want. This is for us.
I do it for me. Shout out to all those listening at this point. It's probably just Mom. What's up? Thanks for listening to here.
What's up?
Shout out our little brother Chase as well. He wanted to shout out, begged us for a shout out.
Yeah,
he was with us in the game. He weathered the storm. He deserves a shout out.
He actually was a trooper. I was proud of him.
Yeah,
we'll be back. I'll say we'll probably get an episode out by Wednesday morning. We'll probably not record after the game on Monday. We'll record Tuesday night and put it out Wednesday morning. So that's it from us. 10-2 Cardinals. Till next time. Go Birds.
Go Birds.